Howdy, folks. Kevin here. You ought to know that by now. I'm going to stay on my America is Doomed rant. This is a Trader Jack, inexpensive cigar. This is an aromatic. They come in a bag of 20. And I'm going to drink some of this Bushmills Irish whiskey, the red label, because it's handy right here on the table. How long does it take before something disappears completely completely from society, or completely from the norm, or completely from something you see and hear every day? The reason I'm asking this is I watch people run around doing things that when I was a kid you would never do in public. My parents would have never done in public. And same thing with every aspect of life. You know, it's one of those things where, you know, why would you go to the Walmart in your PJs? How'd you do that? I don't know. Well, I got to thinking about it. I'm in my 60s. And I grew up in the 60s and 70s as a kid, which, by the way, makes me a boomer from when I was born, but I didn't really grow up during much of the boomer generation, because the boomer generation ended in 64 and I was born in 62, so I was 2 when the boomer generation supposedly ended. My kids found out when we were playing some game that had a bunch of trivia and stuff in it that they wanted me to play on the team because it had a boomer section. The heck? Like a mouse just fell off the table. Anyhow, they found out that I don't know as much of the boomer stuff as they thought I did, because like I told them, I was only 2. So, but anyhow, I want you to sit and think back to a favorite TV show or something like that when you were a kid, and think about, is it still on the air? What happened to all those actors and actresses? Where are they at? The things that they talked about in that show, what you know, if it was some show that meant to have an agenda behind the scenes of teaching you something, or making some social statement or political statement or something along those lines, which most shows when I was young they really didn't, because actors knew that they were entertainers and not social and political commentators. Some shows kind of did stuff like that, but not all of them, and not very many of them, and it wasn't all that in-your-face stuff that you get nowadays. But anyhow, think about it. One of my favorite TV shows growing up, 90% of the actors are dead, gone already. It has survived in various aspects, but it's completely changed. Same thing with comic books. You know, so let's look at the comic book eras thing. You know, because that was, comic books were big when I was a kid. Look at what Superman was in the 60s and 70s to how they represent Superman nowadays. And let's look at the differences. Look at the differences. It's one of those, I don't understand. I understand how it happens. I don't understand why it happens. I understand how it happens. Because think about it. If you have a set of parents teaching their children one thing, and then those children take a different view on what's going on, and they teach their children something different. Think about it. That's only a span of maybe mom and dad were in their 20s or 30s when they had the kids, and now those kids are in their late teens, early 20s when they have kids. It's only been 20 years since we started teaching a little bit different, and then the next group after that, they're taught a little bit different, and everything that happened, grandma and grandpa or great grandma and grandpa, that's gone because that's old-fashioned stuff. We don't talk about that anymore. And then 4 or 5 more little sets of that, and they've completely forgotten all of this over here, and doing something completely new over here. But nowadays, we decide all this stuff that happened over here, we're not even going to talk about that anymore, because that's old-fashioned and wrong, and you know, it just doesn't fit with our modern moral code. And we all know that leads to repeating the mistakes of the past. Anyhow, I just want you to think about how much things have changed in your short lifetime, and it is short, you know. Contrary to what some social groups and those folks would have you believe, there's probably been around a few billion years, not the couple of thousand that a lot of folks want you to believe. Yes, I've gone down the YouTube rabbit hole the last couple of days where it's one of those, you get a video suggested, and you go to that video, and then it suggests even weirder videos, and then you go to one of those videos, and it suggests even weirder videos. Yeah, it's easy to get down there. I might have to learn how to do reaction videos, where I can put their little video up over here and go, now this douche canoe right here, that might be a thing. I wonder what it would take to learn how to do that. I'm not sure I have. I'm not sure I want to. This has been an incoherent rambling about how things change over your lifetime and over the lifetimes of your parents and your children. So think about how different those things are, for good or for bad. And you just go out and run with that. Do your own video on the subject. Talk to y'all later. See you in the woods. Bye now.